Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy Resolve here. Brand new series I'm going to do. Start doing this podcast. Unfortunately, Havo and Gedden aren't doing theirs anymore. And that's definitely a bummer because I know I enjoyed the show and there's a lot of others who enjoyed the show. So shouts out to them. I thought I'd take this podcast thing. I've been wanting to do one for a while, but I just haven't had the pieces to put together to make this podcast. So I'm just gonna, start just by recording on my phone until I get everything in place. I still have my El Gato that's got to come in, and I plan on buying a camera so I have a very professional, structured podcast soon. But this is something that I definitely think I'm gonna enjoy because, like I said, I'm kind of over playing the game of Madden and the breakdowns and all that stuff like that. So I'm just going to be talking about a few things and hopefully bringing some consumers, the awareness of the games that we used to have and the options and stuff like that, because it is a totally different generation. And what we have now is Madden, and that's all we know. So, with that being said, starting next month, I want to start, and I did this before a few years back. I want to start sending out options of old football video games, or even basketball or soccer. You know what I mean? Just older games that we used to enjoy, the older options that we used to enjoy, and that is my only thing I can do at the moment because of how much Madden has taken over. And not everybody likes NBA 2K. Not everybody likes Madden. Not everybody likes 2K football. So this video is the title is going to be called "Why It Looks Bad for Madden Competition." Now, what that means is I don't believe anytime soon there's going to be a real threat to oppose Madden. There's just not. Nobody really just wants to dip into that. Madden has put so much money into this monopoly, and they've been running the game for so long that a lot of other companies. I don't know if they're scared or if they just want to just give that to EA. There have been a few smaller development groups that have stepped up and made a few games, but it's nothing compared to the beast that EA has created. So I was reading some things on the internet, and I was reading an article by Ian Cummings. If you don't know who Ian Cummings, he used to be the creative director of Madden, and I believe the last game he had a hand in was Madden 2012. So a lot of people say that once he became creative director, that he ruined this game. I think that he may have had a part in it, but I think it goes a whole lot deeper than what we can comprehend as far as, games that are failing or are not high quality. So why Madden won't have competition? There's an article, Ian Cummings, and I'm going to put that down in the description. He says that, and I'm going to read what he has here. Others argue that a non-licensed football game featuring fake teams and stadiums is the answer. Unfortunately, the buying public has spoken loudly and clearly with their wallets on that front. Now, if you don't understand what they're saying, that the consumers are saying that they don't really care for video games or football video games that have fake teams, or non NFL brands or anything like that. 2K Sports All Pro Football 2K8, it did not sell nearly enough to justify a follow up. We all know that. We've not we have not seen another since. Simply put, fans want to see their favorite real teams and players in actual stadiums doing what they do. Now, that statement is 100% true. I don't care if it's a football game. I don't care if it's electronics. I don't care if it's clothing. People gravitate towards brand names. That's just how USA works. You know, it's in music videos, it's on commercials. Like they put this stuff into your head to where if you don't have these brand names, then whatever you have is not of high quality, or you're not quote unquote popular or cool or whatever. When I was in school, if you weren't wearing Rockaware, if you weren't wearing Coogee, anything like that, you were considered lame or the outcast or whatever. People have to have brand names to justify what they are buying. Now, when I was in school, I was working at Fossil as a part-time job. I sold watches, and you learn a lot of things with when I learned a lot of things when I worked at Fossil, and there's not only did we sell Fossil watches, but we sold like Michael Kors, some of the higher end brand names at the store. Michael Kors, Diesel, Emporium Armani, all that stuff like that. Now, what I didn't know is that Fossil actually makes Michael Kors watches and Diesel watches, and these different types of brand names that you're out, these ladies are out here buying the Michael Kors and stuff. Fossil actually makes that stuff, and there'll be women that will come into the store, and the first thing that they would say is to point me towards the Michael Kors. Now, me knowing what I know, I would tell them like, yo, that these Michael Kors watches are just Fossil watches. They just have a name Michael Kors on them, but they didn't care. They just wanted the watch to say Michael Kors. It didn't matter what the hell, who made it. As long as the watch said Michael Kors, they were fine with it. And that just goes to show with any football game that's created, if the game does not have NFL teams, a lot of people are not even going to turn in the direction. Let me put it to you like this. Whenever I was growing up, I played Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Those were, at the time, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter were the top fighting games. That you couldn't get no better than that. Now, there were other fighting games out there, and I've owned a couple of them, like Shaq Fu, Clay Fighter, and I enjoyed all the fighting games. But my favorite fighting game was Mortal Kombat. I played Street Fighter also. Now, I would have friends come over to the house, and we love playing fighting games. We love performing finishing moves and combos and stuff like that. But the thing is, the first thing they would say when they came to the house, yo, let's play that Mortal Kombat. Every now and then I would say, yo, man, I got this Shaq Fu, or I got this Clay Fighter or whatever. And I kid you not, every kid makes the same exact face, and it looks a little something like this. I give them the cartridge, and they got it in their hand. They're just like, What is this? This ain't Mortal Kombat. This isn't Street Fighter. What is this? Stop playing, man. Give me a real fighting game. Now, Clay Fighter and Shaq Fu were real fighting games, but the fact that they weren't Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, nobody even cared to even give it a chance. And that's just how usually the young mind thinks, because when it came to football, I was playing Madden. I played some 2K there too, but if the game wasn't Madden, by the time it got to the PS2 era, like, honestly, I didn't care. I played 2K, and then before that, I played some NFL quarterback club and all this stuff in Game Day, because Game Day was the shit at 1.2. But everybody gravitates towards these brand names. Now, Ian Cummings says, so the stakes to enter the NFL game space between licensing and paying people for 2 to 3 years to build it is north of 150 million. Add to that the consideration that in 3 years, the current game console cycle will be nearing its end. Transactions to newer, more powerful machines will be happening, bringing with lack of experience and uncertainty. Now, he's already made it clear that you need bread. You need millions, 150 million. You need a lot of money to make these any football game that's even going to come close to compete with Madden. Now, these small companies like Axis and stuff, I commend them. They're out there. They're trying to make these games. Even Havo said that he was making a football game at one point, and he said that it's so hard for him just to get the players to do certain things, and that's just the basics. We're talking about competing with Madden. Now, he says by 2019, it is entirely possible, likely even, that Madden and other sports games will be available. EA sponsors services much like Netflix or Spotify. So, he's thinking that sometime, in the near future, Madden might become like this subscription service. And we've already established that there's other YouTubers that have said this before. Starting with the current day business model, but releasing into a very different on-demand one is a recipe for catastrophe. Even if that shift is not completely changed, there are red flags. With the retail cost of $60 per game, the debut title will need to sell at least 3 million copies to come close to even breaking even. Now, they're saying that even $60 per game, what's good, Havo? Even $60 per game, they have to sell a shit ton of copies just to break even. And see, this is where Mutt comes in. So, the sales may not reflect what the hell, they're making with money because of, they're making so much money with Mutt. But they honestly, at this point in time, Madden honestly doesn't need all the sales. Even though they are like number 4 in the year of 2017, they are number 4. And I can show you, on my laptop, I can show you that the only thing above Madden is Call of Duty. Matter of fact, I got it right here. The only thing that is above Madden is Call of Duty. There is... This damn mouse is messing up. Okay, so only thing above Madden, Call of Duty, Destiny 2, NBA 2K18. That's 3 games. This article was written December 17th of 2017. So until the new year, I don't think there's any game that came out and surpassed Madden 18 in sales. Madden 18 is number 4. That's a lot, man. So, like I said, Ian Cummins is saying that the sales, with $60 per game, they have, it's a struggle to break even, but they have the Mutt. So he also says, quote, in quotations, Madden can outmarket you too. It doesn't matter how good your game is, they will drop 50 million on an ad campaign and bury you. This is verbatim coming from Ian Cummins' mouth. They will drop 50 million on an ad campaign and bury you. This is the resources that EA has. That's a lot of money, man. And that's when you see guys like Kevin Hart and stuff like that in these commercials, because they're able to afford this. And a lot of the guys right now, you see these guys on Ryan Moo's video, and it's easy to complain about Madden at this point in the year just because of the fact that, everybody's kind of tired of Madden now, and Madden is slowing down, and people complaining about what Madden really is. But guess what happens? Every time, what is it, around like May or something like that, where Madden starts showing trailers, April, some time frame, Madden starts talking about new gameplay, and those very same people who are complaining about Madden and talking about how trash it is and making rant videos and stuff, those same people get bought out by this $50 million ad campaign that Madden does every year. They're not worried about how you feel about it right now because they already have your money. So let's talk about a couple. Let's talk about a couple games that completely were wiped off the map just because of Madden. NFL Game Day. When NFL Game Day first released, it was back in 2005, 2006. I didn't play it at that time. I didn't start playing NFL Game Day till 98, I believe. I fell in love with the game. I still play Madden, but I still play Game Day at the same time. It was something about it. It was a different atmosphere. And at the time, game day's graphics were revolutionary because Madden's graphics were just kind of grainy. And game day was like the first like real life size like 3D models when it came to a PlayStation football game. So it broke a record at the time. Whenever game day released, it broke a record for selling. It was like 300,000 copies, which is a lot at that time. And Madden, 97 came out, Madden 98, not Madden, but Game Day 98, Game Day 99. And I'm telling you, like, they could do no wrong. Eventually, Madden ported over to the PS2. But for some reason, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes at, I think it was Acclaim that might have made the game. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but Game Day could not keep up with EA as far as resources, time, money. They couldn't keep up. So when Madden 2001 dropped for the PS2, everybody was praising EA for making such a great game and how the player models looked and stuff like that. But Game Day had the same type of 989 Sports. That's who the hell it was. Game Day had the same type of models that they had in the PlayStation, and it was a PS2 game. Madden Game Day, not Madden, Game Day 2001 became a PS2 became a PS2 game, but for some reason it couldn't. They just didn't have the resources to make their player models look better, and everything that happened on the game just wasn't high quality. Even got terrible scores on all, by all types of critics. So Game Day went all the way to Game Day 2005. It kept like this little hardcore fans that it's had, but once EA got that license, that was a wrap. The license pretty much cleared out any type of extra bullshit from any other football game there was, even 2K Sports. And 2K Sports was this close to catching Madden football. Don't get me wrong. 2K Sports was a great game, but Madden 2005 still outsold NFL 2K 5. But it was right there. If you would have gave it a year or two, 2K most likely would have caught them. But Game Day was pretty much done after Game Day 2001. Then there's NFL Quarterback Club. NFL Quarterback Club was another good football game, but after a while, they tried to keep up with Madden once it hit the PS2 era, and they also couldn't do the same thing. As a matter of fact, they tried to take the route that Madden took. What's good, Getting? NFL Quarterback Club tried to take the same route that Madden is taking now. Now, the route that I'm talking about is the route of let's try to grab every single gamer, casual, competitive, whatever, gamer, let's try to grab them all. The reason why Madden can do that now is because it's the only football game. So they can do whatever the hell they want to. But at that time, Madden Football, 2001, 2002, all the way 2005, they were a sim football game. Madden was a simulation football game, and NFL Quarterback Club was trying to go down that route of an arcade style game. So during the game, playing as the quarterback, you could throw into like triple coverage and it would, talk about ball physics and intangibility. The ball would morph through everybody and the wide receiver could catch the ball. It was more of an arcade game, and so they started losing a lot of their crowd. They still had their hardcore fans, but they started losing a lot of their crowd. And on top of that, NFL Quarterback Club didn't have a franchise mode. It's the biggest highlight to that game was the quarterback challenge, and that's what made that game or put that game on the map. So it had no replayability, just because of the fact that the franchise mode wasn't there. And so a lot of times when people walk into the store, man, they're just gonna walk right past NFL Quarterback Club, man. Madden and in the uprising of NFL 2K, then nobody's playing NFL Quarterback Club. So there was supposed to be an NFL Quarterback Club 2003, but that game 2002 did so bad. 2003 ended up getting just canceled. So, you know, I tried to do research on why NFL Quarterback Club was canceled, but there's just there's nothing out there. I sat here for an hour going through page after page after page. There's nothing out there that shows why NFL Quarterback Club 2003 was canceled. But I can tell you this, I guarantee you it's because Madden and the uprising of 2K were pretty much shitting on them. So there's that. The competition. If you can't keep up with the times, then you're just gonna get left in the dust. You know, if you have a pager and somebody they invent a phone that you can actually text people. People are not going to use pagers anymore. It's with anything, with music, with anything. If you can't keep up with the times, you're just going to get left in the dust. If you don't have the money, if you don't have the time or the resources, you're not going to be able to compete with these other games. So I have a lot of stuff written down here. So we talked about game day. We talked about NFL Quarterback Club. Now NFL 2K. Now NFL 2K was different. NFL 2K actually had money, time, and they put heart into their game. EA was also doing the same thing at the same time. They were both putting time. 2K and Madden were button heads. You could tell that these guys' competitions, they were just driving each other, to do better than the other. To me, 2K put a little bit more heart into Madden and put more, life into the game. And people were starting to take notice. Yes, Madden had the NFL teams, and so did NFL 2K. So 2K's game could be noticed easily. Okay, this game has the NFL teams. They have the brands. They have the logo. Okay, let me give this game a try. And sure enough, when people played it, they were just like, this game might be a little better than Madden. But at the time, people didn't know that. But you give it some time, 2K would have most likely taken over. Now, 2005, we all know that Madden had bought out the NFL license or whatever. So that chopped everyone's legs, that cut everything beneath everybody. Any football game that was left, that was, game day was on his last breath, it just completely wiped that shit out. And then that actually caused, and I did some reading on this too, that actually caused 2K to buy the MLB license, and so they started making their baseball games. And I didn't even know that, but that's gonna be for another video. So what Madden did with this licensing could have been a ripple effect to cause other companies to just start doing the same monopolies that EA was doing with Madden. So NFL 2K had the NFL license. It was creeping up on Madden real fast, but it was taken away. NFL All-Pro Football came out a few years later. The gameplay was great. The atmosphere, the authenticity, everything was great about this game. It had its flaws or glitches or whatever, but it was a great football game. But just because of the simple fact that this game didn't have NFL teams or the features, so it wasn't a fully loaded, fully featured football game. It didn't last. There really wasn't too much replayability. You could play online. Excuse me. You could play online. You could play against some friends, but a lot of people would rather just pick up a game like Madden, have my NFL teams on there, and then just play it like that. Even myself, I played All Pro Football, and I played it a lot. But at the time of release, I saw, like John Elway on the cover and stuff, and I was just like, I don't even know what this is, man, So I'm just going to keep on playing Madden. I played 2K All-Pro when I was a kid, and I was like, okay, it's cool. I like what it's doing, but it's just not, it ain't got what Madden's got. So that's how a lot of people think. Now, I told you Ian Cummins he says, even with the money, a team is going to still need about 1 to 2 to 3 years to even try to really compete. And that's with the money, they need that money. They need that time to really compete. So whenever you look at games like Canadian football, you look at Axis football. Like I said, I commend what they're doing, but they're just a peon. They're just a peon in a monster's habitat. They can't really do anything against Madden right now. Even the Axis football game has been getting better, but it's still not enough to even really turn heads. People know about it. A lot of the hardcore football gamers know about it, but for the most part, they really can't do too much to even compete. Canadian football is a mess. Oh my God, the game is a mess. So it's not even on the same. At least Axis has something, has somewhat of a following and is getting better. Canadian football is just like it's really nothing. So the only thing right now that has the potential to even be on the scale to compete with Madden is this the IMV gaming, this college football game. Now, there, and I can go to their page. They they have a total cost. I'm sorry about the camera movement. They have their development will cost $5 million. That's a lot of damn money. That's enough money to actually make a game that competes with Madden. And they're obviously right now they are trying to get funding from us, the consumers. They haven't shown any type of gameplay yet. They have been releasing a lot of concept art, but it still hasn't been any type of gameplay or whatever. But they have a huge goal. And if sometime in the future they were to reach this goal, it would still take a couple years for them to make a game that could compete with Madden. So we're talking about they said ideally we would like to release Gridiron Champions in 2019. Ideally, but like I said, that's a huge goal. Let's say they do get their money in 2019. We probably won't see anything that would compete with Madden until like 2021, 2022, or something like that. So I hope IMV Gaming. I hope they do their thing. I hope they reach the goal or whatever. The more things that they show, then the more things that we have to go off of. Because I would definitely like some type of competition when it comes to Madden football. One thing that I thought that is pretty funny. I was reading this article, this GQ article about Madden 18, and they're talking about the success of Madden 18 and how many sales, and it's like one of the, I think it's like number 6 or something, number 4 selling for, as far as Madden games go, it's like number 4. I had to look that up, but I was reading something about these guys on GQ. A few critics, they're talking about Madden, and he said a statement that is perfect. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to flip this camera around. I'm going to actually show you. All right. So, Kevin, he says, that's fair. Madden 18 made it exceedingly simple for me to stomp you through the internet. And honestly, it's probably the most fun I've had playing in Madden so far. Just playing football. But I can't help but feel like something is missing from the core experience. Do you feel like there's an absence of something? Now, that is very important what he says, because first thing he talks about is he said that's the most fun. And we all know Madden can be a fun game. If I got friends over, I'm playing Madden 18, Madden can be a fun game. Video games are meant to be fun. But then he goes to say, I can't help but feel like something is missing from the core experience. Why does he say that? Because there is something missing from the core experience. And then he goes to say this, and this almost brought tears to my eyes. This is very important. Something about it makes me stop short of considering it a celebration of football. Madden really isn't about how great football is, it's about how great the NFL is. And that's exactly that is that is the perfect statement for what Madden is, because Madden Madden it's not like it's fully representing football, because if we if we really wanted a game to represent football, all pro football would still be relevant. There'd be a all pro football, I don't know, 2 or 3 or something like that. All pro football. This is a guy, this is who said this. Uh, if you go to GQ, a guy named Kevin, these are just critics on this. Hold on, show you. Yeah, just a guy named Credit on this GQ website. There are a couple guys, and they all have different things, but they all kind of say the same thing. They all say, Madden is fun, and Madden has some cool things. That's all right, man. And this is a podcast. Hopefully, I can maybe do what y'all were doing, and maybe get some people in here and just casually talk about certain things. But something about it makes me stop short of considering as a celebration of football. Now it says Madden really isn't about how great football is, it's about how great the NFL is, and that's what Madden is doing. It's just representing the NFL. At this point, it's in my eyes, it's not even representing football, but it's representing just the NFL. And that's why EA is sticking, or the NFL is sticking with EA, because right now it's the perfect game to represent the NFL. It grabs all the casual crowds, and it just plays the same thing every year. Now, like I said, if we were talking about representing football, if we wanted a game that representing football, all pro football will still be relevant. Backbreaker football would still be relevant. Now, I admit the release of Backbreaker, had a few quirks that could have been worked out, but for an initial release, oh my God, like that's a game that had, to me, Backburger had unlimited potential. Like with the engine that it had, what was it? The natural motion engine. With that engine, it had unlimited potential. And all I think they had to do was, tune down, some of the jukes and the consistency of how often people are juked, and the camera angles and stuff like that. I think that game had unlimited potential. Sorry about the computer. Also, so I have the next guy here. He says that that's funny. I seem to remember Madden also making it exceedingly simple for you to fumble at least once every quarter. But I'm with you. The idea that something is missing, I just don't think it's a void that will ever be filled. That is what we argue about every single year. You know what I'm saying? Like we have always felt like something has been missing from Madden, and there's a lot. There's a lot that has been missing from Madden for years, and we have been looking to fill that void. But obviously they're making so much money, and they don't really care about a simulation football game. That void will never be filled. So he continues and he says Madden is an almost overwhelmingly corporate product, and a remarkably efficient one. It doesn't offer a holistic experience that explores football from many angles to form a compelling whole, such as it funnels you into the version of itself you are willing to spend the most time in. Sometimes new modes shake things up a bit, but Mutt is an arcane but ingenious way to play Madden. And he just goes on and talks about Madden forever. God, my screen keeps moving. He says Madden is a ingenious way to play football, willing to put up with learning it, but sometimes, but something about it makes me stop short of considering it a celebration of football. But how, and he goes to say how great the NFL is. So we talk about Mutt and those games that give, Madden that fun factor, but there's something that is missing from the game. Now, like I said, we can go back and forth about Madden all day long. We can make videos all day long about Madden, but the truth of the matter is, and Ian Cummings and these critics, they said it the best. Regardless of what you put out, Madden. First off, Madden's marketing is flawless. Anybody that spends 50 mil on anything is going to be flawless. But 50 mil on marketing, that's top notch. Like, you can't get any better than that. You know what I'm saying? EA knows, they know what product they have. They know what they need to do. And Rex right now is the perfect man for the job. He has filled his quota. Matter of fact, he's probably did better than what he was supposed to do. And he made plenty money on Madden this year. And regardless of what we have said, what we have done, to try to defend these other games, these other options, what we have tried to do to stand tall as a sim community, the sales keep going up. The sales numbers keep going up. So a lot of the guys, obviously, we like to complain, but we still like to buy the game. So Madden's competition, I don't believe that anytime soon that there's going to be anything to compete with it. I think that for the next at least 3 to 4 years, I believe that Madden is going to be the only thing. Some people even think that Madden is going to be it forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they think that Madden is just going to run this shit. You know what I mean? They've made their money, and next year they're probably going to do a slight tweak, and they're going to drop Madden 19. And it's going to, that same hype train that they always have is going to pull a lot of the same people in. And a lot of the same guys who make these videos, a lot of the same guys who make, videos talking about how flawed the game is, or rant videos. That Madden 19 game is going to be on their channel next year, and they're going to be talking about the same shit, and the same things are going to keep happening. So like I said, starting next month, I am going to start sending out options. Once again, if you want to play all pro football, you send me your address. I will go on Amazon. I will buy the game for you, and I will send the game to you. I haven't figured out how it's going to work yet. I'm even considering, because you can actually buy like Xbox 360s and stuff like that for cheap. What's good, Thomas? But I'm actually considering doing like a once a month thing to where, because these are old games now. Some people don't have 360s no more. Some people don't have PlayStation 2s anymore. I'm actually considering buying an old console with the game and sending it out, depending on the circumstances. But I know for sure I will be sending out options once again. And once I get into these podcasts, I will write down whatever the hell I need to write down, and I will send out NFL 2K or a Madden 2008 or even a PC Madden 2008. I will send that to you, because right now that is the only options that we have. As far as, console gaming and stuff like that, there's other guys who have PC games and stuff like that, but I will send out this stuff just to offset something. It probably won't affect Madden sales, but I guarantee you it can shed some light on, other games, because we could talk about Madden all day long. I could sit here, I could bash Madden, I could talk about the flaws. The list is endless. But once you actually get a game in your hand, if I send you NFL 2K5 and you've never played this game, you actually now have something to compare to Madden, regardless of if it's an old game. A lot of these kids now, they have not played these older games, and what they know now is Madden. And I can't blame them for not jumping on the train of 2K. I can't blame them for not jumping on the train of a NFL fever or something like that. Like, when they don't know, they're pretty much ignorant, and they have to jump on Madden and what it gives them. So, and I guarantee you there's plenty of people who play Madden. I guarantee you there are plenty of people who actually question the game of Madden, and they wonder, if Madden will get any better. They wonder if there will be another game, but this is all they know. So if I can get these old games in the hands of some of these younger kids, then maybe, just maybe, I can shed some light on the situation. So that is everything that I have written down today. Next episode, I want to talk about what the Madden monopoly, how it created a ripple effect as far as these other games monopolizing other sports titles like NBA 2K, or not NBA 2K, but MLB The Show, and these other sports titles that have been monopolized, or out there with a license attached to only their game. So, but I want to do this more often. Maybe this is the first time I've done a podcast, so maybe I can get something to where I can get people on here and we can sit here and casually talk about this stuff, man, because I don't want y'all to see my ugly face every single time we do the podcast, you know what I'm saying? But I apologize for the quality or anything like that, but I will, like I said, I will get a camera. I will get a Elgato for some gaming footage and stuff like that, and that'll be it, man. But I have the time to actually sit down and do this now, and it's fairly easy to do so. And even Havo and Getting, man, y'all. I know deep down, man, y'all really wanted to continue that show, man. But I understand that there's certain things in life that take priority over things than YouTube. So once again, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the sim community. Those of you guys who, and I'm not talking about the sim community that's just out there to complain. I'm talking about the sim community that's out there and they really want a new football game. You know what I'm saying? And they really go home and they pop in these older games and they say, you know what, man? I'm not about to buy Madden. You know what, man? Like I'm really tired of Madden, so I'm just gonna put it on the shelf for now. And I'm gonna play this NFL Fever, or I'm gonna play this Madden '08 on the PC, and I'm gonna mod these rosters. That's the community that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the ones that's in the comment sections just to complain and then go buy the game next year. I'm not talking about y'all. But the handful of you that are there, I'm speaking to y'all, man. So I appreciate your time. Most likely, I start my new job on the 22nd. So I'm going to try to do a podcast every single day until then. And then once the 22nd hits, I work night shift. So I'll probably be changing up the time somewhere around then. But every day, let me see, I started this at around 4 o'clock my time, or 3:45. So what we'll do is around 3 o'clock tomorrow, I'll probably be doing another podcast talking about what happened with the Monopoly of Madden. So I appreciate y'all time once again. Salute to y'all. Got my resolve. What's yours?